Safe Room, a survival horror game club podcast. I'm Grace, and with me is my co-host, Rose.
I'm feeling hot.
But I'm fine, actually, though. I'm cool. It's all good. I just need to say that. Just need to get that out there. And then, it'll be fun. Also with us is AP.
Que calor.
Yeah. AP is a friend of mine and also co-host of the podcast Dovewhether. And just want to be on the show. And we were like, hey, come be on it.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I'm feeling a little scared out of here. I just saw some rats turn into a giant, decrepit monster, and it's shooting fireballs at me from its tail. Can I walk into the safe room?
That's right. There's not really, I guess there's not really a safe room in this game. I guess there's like the weapons locker at the police precinct. That's like the closest thing.
Yeah, it's the fucking cops.
Yeah, we played Parasite Eve this month, which is a Square RPG from the 90s with character designs by one Tetsuya Nomura.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you seen his art of Aya for this game, Rose? Or
no,
either of you?
I have not.
It is good.
This game is so weird. Sorry, I'm reading about the development of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I should have done before we started recording.
But you know,
even the game itself just is weird. So much of it, like, there is... Oh my god, this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, sorry, I posted some art in the chat.
That's so much cooler than any of the art in the game.
I generally like when beautiful blonde women point guns at me, but this is great.
Right, it's a category of a genre of image I appreciate. But this is a high quality one, nevertheless.
Yeah, they could bring this back and make $1 million, to be honest.
Yeah, true. We're in the Gooner game era, so.
I think her boobs are too normal, though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I was looking into a little bit of this character, and yeah, apparently Aya, maybe Maya, who knows, is like one of the top video game sex symbols in the 90s, and that was news to me. That was big news to me.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, this is like one of the things is that it's like you just had to be a blonde woman to be a video game sex symbol in the 90s, you know? And there's some artwork like yeah, there's this, I'm looking at this image of...
I mean, I feel like you just had to be a woman.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Tifa was just blocks, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Tifa, I need her so bad. I need that blocky girl so bad.
You know, I mean, they're cuties, Tifa and Aerith. But no, the thing is that you could tell that I'm a specific kind of pervert because, like, I get mad when people draw Shadowheart's boobs too big. Like, that's not right. You can't do that. Anyway.
I wanted to shout out, while we're posting images, I did want to shout out one specific frame from the opening of this game.
Yes.
Which is this rat
Yes,
with
yeah.
resonance on it.
Oh, I love it. For the listener, it's a white rat kind of holding its hands to its chest, and it's got almost as if it was holding a bunch of books or folders, and it just says resonance over it.
Yeah, the italic serif font.
Yeah.
You know. Is this I didn't really think about the like text stuff in the opening movie as like a Kingdom Hearts precursor, but
there's so many Kingdom Hearts shit in this game.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
That's
we
true.
should probably talk about what this game is first.
Yes. So this is kind of in structure something of a survival horror game. There is inventory management. there is specific places where you have to save your game. I never ran out of ammo. I don't know if this was a problem for either of you, but that was never an issue. But you do have, in theory, you have limited amounts of ammunition. And you play as Arya Brea, who is a cop in New York. She's going on a date to the opera, where everyone at the opera spontaneously combusts except for her. Like literally set on fire, and she finds out that it's because her like this woman Eve, who seems to know her, is trying to like bring about a revolution of the mitochondria, which, as we know, is the powerhouse of the cell. Which are, you know, like the game kind of frames as like parasitic organisms almost in the human body that have been kind of like, well, not just the human body, just bodies generally.
Which
animal
is the
life.
Which is a real history. Like the mitochondria used to be an organism that like symbiotically joined eukaryotic cells way back, like at least 5,000 years ago.
So, you know, the game kind of positions that as like that was an intelligence making that decision to do that, and that is trying to like break free from that. And so New York is evacuated, and a lot of the game is like running around with her cop partner Daniel and the Japanese scientist Maeda, who also there was like a previous incident in Japan of a similar sort of nature. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, that's like basic premise level stuff. The combat is a really weird. So, you know, a lot of this game's like exploration, picking up objects, lightly solving puzzles, but mostly kind of navigating environments, I would say. Like you have a couple big things like the sewers and the museum that are like sort of these sprawling areas. And then when you get into a fight, it is like, it has the active time battle stuff from Final Fantasy. So your, you know, attacks are on a timer, your actions are on a timer. But then when you're waiting for the timer to go, you just move around and enemies will attack you and stuff, and you have to dodge their attacks. So, it's like a pretty, you know, it is clearly kind of an attempt to do a like, action forward RPG game model. Yeah, it turns out that Arya is, well, actually, let me leave the floor open. Does anybody have any additional comments or things that I should have summarized but did not?
I would say that like the combat really is highlight this character and press one button.
Yep.
It is not complex at all. And even the like, if you're like a big min-maxer in video games, it's almost unnecessary to min-max in this game also. Just because the game is so, hey, there's a guy, you have a gun. Gun beats guy every time.
Yeah. I think there was the thing is you get the scan ability and it says like read enemy weaknesses, and I never had that show up. I never had enemy weaknesses. Like, and I think there was a couple times where I did like switch from a rifle to a grenade launcher and it seemed to do more damage, but I couldn't like figure out the pattern of that or anything.
I would also maybe add that this game is almost like a play. There is such a small amount of characters.
Yeah.
Like the whole world revolves around a group of 9 New Yorkers in Parasite Eve.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing is, yeah, like it turns out Eve has like the kidney of her sister, and that, you know, and that's why they both have like mitochondria powers, and they both represent like I don't know, opposing factions of mitochondria, one that is like assimilating more into human life and the other that is like opposed to the existence of human life. and we're gonna battle it out in the evolutionary chain, baby. Yeah, I think that is also kind of a function of, like, I was thinking a little bit about that just in terms of the way, like, a fixed background works is like a set, and then you have the 3D models as actors moving through it, and, like, you can't really get close-ups on their faces because they don't have, like, expressive facial expressions. And so the whole thing is this sort of, like, pantomime kind of, you're seeing something that has to be expressible from a distance, right? Which is kind of theatrical. And I don't know. I think that's cool. I think it's neat. Like, I guess, yeah. What do people? I enjoyed this for the most part, I think.
I thought it was mid. I really wanted to like it, but I just found myself disappointed by how, like, paper thin the plot was.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot there, for sure.
And the combat, and we alluded to it, and we'll get into it more, but, like, the combat felt very thin for what could be a really good RPG. It felt kind of slapped together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty cool on it. I mean, I did enjoy playing it and enjoyed aspects of what was there, but yeah, a little disappointed and all. So
yeah, go ahead.
I feel like this game generally is a nice refresher of what games used to be. I'm not much of a retro gamer, so playing it's nice to see the lineage, the evolution of the games that I have played more recently, specifically some of the remakes of Resident Evil, and I like seeing that. Do I like playing it? No. And yeah. I'm also, like, such a, like, themes freak in all art and media that I was kind of, like, looking for the themes in this game. And honestly, I can't really find major themes. Fatherhood, maybe? I don't know. Like, I would say I generally enjoyed it. But I will probably never replay this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is kind of the script is very plot forward. And there's also, like, kind of these moments where the game gestures at kind of big thematic statements. Like, there's that part where Maida at the end is like, maybe the mitochondria is trying to send us a message to, like, stop destroying the environment. And it's like, but that wasn't really a theme before now. Right? Like, this is the first time this has come up. I guess you have that, like, Central Park sequence. But that feels like a stretch, which is, yeah. Okay. I was wondering about this, actually, that it is a sequel to the novel that it's based on. And the novel is like the Japanese incident, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I read the tiniest bit amount of the novel, and
I did too.
I also, later on in the show, we'll talk about it, but there was a piece of information that came into the inbox that kind of led me to think, oh, that book is not for me. I shouldn't touch it. I shouldn't touch it. I shouldn't evolve to it. I shouldn't put it inside my cell in a symbiotic state.
You said that while I was reading one sentence from the Wikipedia summary that corroborates that.
Spit it out. Spit it out.
We'll talk about it when we talk about the email.
All right.
But I did like the thing about a book. Okay, is you can describe somebody's inner thoughts.
True. Yeah. True.
So instead of somebody yelling, I'm feeling hot. You can have a character describe the sensations that they are feeling in detail.
True.
Instead of yelling, I'm feeling hot and then blowing up. You know?
Yeah.
But in 2025, don't we all feel hot? Maybe the
It's
mitochondria
true.
was right. Maybe the environment does need help.
Yeah, well, certainly. I agree with the mitochondria. I just don't know if this was the proper communication of the message, you know? Yeah, I mean, I think it is like, I don't know. Because I think I enjoyed this a lot. Partially, maybe... Well, partially, the music rocks.
Oh, yeah.
The music is so good.
Oh,
I didn't know this, but it's Yoko Shimomura,
Oh, shit.
who did Kingdom Hearts
Right. Oh,
and a million other Square things.
And a bunch of Tales
Live Alive
stuff. Am I? No, I'm getting this mixed up.
Oh.
Keeping it in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Live Alive, Super Mario RPG, Legend of Mana, Street Fighter 2, you know, all the Final Fantasy 15, you know,
Yeah.
the classics.
The classics.
As a 15 defender, I must
Yeah.
gotta
Oh, Radiant
give it to him.
Historia, too. DS Classic. Oh my god.
But yeah, presentation wise, this game is great.
Yeah.
Square had money. Square had money to do these crazy CG cutscenes.
Yeah. Well, and also I think the New York, there's some smoothie ass New York pre-renders that are very good.
It's so the overworld menu that you get when you're like navigating the buildings is crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, you get dizzy the way that spins.
That's true. Yeah. And I love the day-night cycle on that too. It's cool.
Yeah.
I really did like the CG in this game because you can see the money, yes, and you can see how gross the biological life is. The way that some of these rats just kind of contort and stretch and bend and like bubble up into like a monster. Every once in a while on my notes, I was just writing gross. And I know that I know that was a cutscene.
Yeah. No, I think that's like a cool element of it is this sort of like this emphasis on the sort of stretching, contorting. I mean, like kind of classic body horror stuff. And it's always fun when you like encounter a new enemy type and it's like there's a mole or like whatever it is. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think mood can also carry a lot of stuff for me. And I think that was like an important element of it. I also how much did you play with the guide, Rose? What was your...
Towards like the second half of the game, I started using a guide a lot more because the dungeons started getting annoying. So.
Right, yeah. No, that was exactly... Because I used one pretty early because it is like... You can miss a ton of items. Which is maybe by design. But, you know, there's lots of hidden stuff to miss. And then also, like, once you enter the sewers on, like, day 4 or whatever, then the dungeons start getting labyrinthian.
Yeah.
I hated those sewers. Keep
keep
whatever's down there.
I got to the sewers and I'm like, all right, it's time to use a guide. I'm not doing this.
Right. Well, because it is like so many of the screens like look the same, so you can't same.
Stop it! Stop this!
AP, you wanted to say something,
and I just like this is like for a game about evolution. I'm so glad we evolved past the need of a sewer level in video games. Maybe it's just the games that I play. Oh, I haven't played a sewer game a sewer level in the game in years.
Yeah, there's sewer levels in like every From Software game, I think. But those are good, so maybe
True.
Yeah, listen, I love Blighttown. I know that's not really that's kind of a sewer level. Cuz it's like on the aqueduct underneath.
Blighttown, what's that? New York?
But yeah, no, I mean, I think there is like I think it's also interesting that this is a game where, RPG, big budget RPG, but you play as one character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can only do one thing per turn. And then a lot of the game is about like, dodging attacks or like learning enemy patterns. And that was like on some of the boss battles that I had trouble with. It was basically like, once I figured out how to actually, because sometimes there's things like it's actually better to like move a little bit and then stand still to dodge an attack or things like that, right? Like it has this kind of fuzzy nuance to that stuff. But it's also kind of weird because most of the time in the game, you can't just brute force encounters. Like you get enough medicine, particularly, when I was using a guide, it's like I get enough stuff to heal up. And then also eventually once you have like all 3 heal magics, you can kind of brute force encounters pretty easily, but you cannot brute force bosses. And I think that does create this kind of lopsided like experience of like you can just plow through enemies, but then like bosses do force you to sit up and pay attention, which is nice. But I don't think there's like it's not that there are hard difficulty spikes, but there's there's an inelegant gradient, I think, between encounters. Right. And not that it ever gets complicated, but yeah, go ahead.
I see that because I had it, I think, the opposite of you. The bosses for me were so easy. They were. It was just it was more of a boss endurance thing. Like, how long do I want to see this dog with 3 heads and like 2 weird spikes out of it? And like while I heal in this corner and like continue to shoot my gun. It was when in the combat, when in the normal random encounters, when you have 5 enemies and you have this timer that like forces you to like, be pensive, that killed me way more. Just being surrounded by these slimes.
What was your like weapon of choice, or what did you? I mean, both of you. What did you guys kit out with?
For me, it was mainly like a pistol, and then later on, it was a mix between like the shotgun and like the grenade launchers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I used the first rifle you get through most of the game. Go ahead.
I was using the M16. Like, I modified it a little bit, so like the damage increased throughout the game, and I also changed up how many rounds it could shoot. And I got into this groove of staying out in a corner with my long shot rifle and popping 2 bullets into a guy and then waiting until I could do it again.
Right, yeah. That makes sense. And I think that's also like with like the group encounters in the museum, like I would use the shot, and that was also my final weapon. I used the shotgun like through all the final bosses and stuff because I like have been pumping upgrades into this rifle I've been using that had super long range. And then I could like move all those upgrades onto the shotgun and make it insanely powerful, and then like deal damage to multiple parts of some of these bosses that have like torso, head, and like leg body components, right? That it's like, oh, I can now like attack all 3 of those at once. And so like the last I had trouble with the Triceratops and the T-Rex in the museum. But then once I got through that, then it was like the rest of the game was smooth sailing, basically.
I will say though, yeah, it felt like a fairly steady, like gradual difficulty throughout it. It never felt like the game was unfair. It felt like the game being 30 years old was unfair, but it never felt like it was just beating my ass because I'm I'm a soy gamer in 2025.
Right. Yeah. Well, I do think that is like... go ahead. Sorry.
The only thing I really had issue with was the final boss, and I just cheated through it. So
yeah, which I did not have trouble with, because also once you have you liberate, which is like you transform into a super mitochondrial being and deal like 3,000 damage or whatever. Then that was like, I really just didn't have trouble with those final encounters for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I also I fundamentally really like the... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Pete.
I was just going to say, did the both of you find yourselves using the psychic powers?
Yes. There were a lot of them that I did think were kind of useless, but I healed a lot, and I used haste all the time.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah. That was like essential sometimes, I think. For
haste, it's not only haste as in like how quickly your turn comes, you also run fast.
Yeah. I think the thing is that they were just because there's the barrier one that eliminates damage from one attack. But the thing is, I just felt like I got hit often enough. And some of these bosses also have attacks that will hit you a lot in quick succession.
Yeah.
Right? And then it kind of feels like, well, getting one of those attacks cleared does nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so I was there were just a bunch of things where I didn't really see the use of them. But I did use the magic. I did use the PE stuff a lot.
It felt like that barrier was so useless, and also the scanning was useless too.
Yeah.
I scanned what looked like a guy in a bunch of leaves, and it told me that it was weak against fire, and I'm like, how do I get a fire attack? It's
right. There is I think there's grenade launchers that have a fire component.
And the thing is, it was so much earlier in the game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Confusion.
But yeah, I
tried using confusion a handful of times, and I was the one being confused because I saw nothing appear in front of me.
Yeah, well, I think I don't remember if I did anything with confusion, and I did kind of feel like it was because you also all the there's the tranquilizer grenade launchers, there's the explosive ones, and I didn't feel like I'm sure there was some difference mechanically in terms of how they work or what they do or enemies are more effective against, but I only one time was ever I think this is doing more damage, or I think this is doing something. Most of the time I could kind of rely on my staple crew. The reason I changed weapons most often was it was either range or it was I'm in a group, let's switch to the shotgun so I can hit multiple enemies at once, right? Those were the two things. But I did turn my armor into a super armor where it would auto heal me when I got hit.
Yeah, that was cool. Mm-hmm.
And
Same.
It was immune to poison and stuff. I like the sort of losing an object but getting a cool thing from it system. I think that's really neat. And then building your freakazoid gun at the end that's because that was also the end I had there's some pistols you get at the end that do you can chain two actions right after each other. And so it was I can shoot 4 shotgun shells and deal incredible amounts of damage in one turn. And that was that feeling of optimizing. And then there was some level of because I got so much stuff and because you do have somewhat limited inventory space, you are kind of forced to cycle through weapons or use tools. That was at least my experience. And so sometimes it did feel I did make mistakes because I didn't quite understand how the system worked. And so I did feel I don't think it's not especially deep or anything, but when I put more understanding into the system of upgrading weapons, that I got rewarded and got by the end of the game, I had a weapon that I was really happy with and felt powerful, right? Whereas I did make upgrading decisions that I wish I could have taken back earlier.
I get that. It feels like this game does not hold your hand at all.
Yeah, well, I think this is also from an era of you were supposed to read the manual. You know?
And I did not read that manual. And
Nope.
so I only really started modifying my gun about halfway through the game.
Mm.
And I was just like, oh, I'm a dummy. I should
Right.
be, these encounters should be shorter.
Yes, yeah. Well, that is the thing, is you can kind of brute force it. It just like takes time and is annoying, you know. Like I think I died less than 5 times playing it.
It also means that there's no incentive to experiment with those like elemental aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, why would you do anything else aside from dodge and shoot? Those are like the 2 verbs.
Yeah.
And then it gets the job done. So why would you do anything else?
Yeah, totally. No.
This game did feel a little like, at times to me, it felt a little bullet helly.
Yeah.
Where I felt like I couldn't really understand the hitboxes of the projectiles. So to my eyes, it looked like I was safe. But I would then get poisoned, and then I get chip damage over time. And I'm like, what? Come on. Oh, come on. Parasite Eve. Come on. We go way back.
No, I think it is like there was definitely stuff where it did feel fuzzy to me, like when or even just like, how am I supposed to dodge this? And I think that is also like that's one of the things in like in the Final Fantasy VII remakes of recent years. Like, those are games that aren't really about dodging. You can do it, and there are attacks you're supposed to dodge, but a lot of times, like, it is best to block and tank it, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's like ideal intended play, right? And I think in the world that we live in, which is Dark Souls pilled, right? There's like a sense of like, oh, dodging attacks, or like being able to like perfect play, basically, so you'll never take damage. And I think this was something that this, I don't know if this is a function of me being like a person who's playing these other new games coming into this, or if this is a function of like it being sort of halfway between action and RPG. But sometimes it was hard to tell to me, like, how much of this am I supposed to be able to dodge, and how much of this is like a question of resource management, the way it would be in like Final Fantasy IV, where you can't dodge attacks ever, and it is just about managing like how much healing you can do and when, right?
There was this one attack from like, I forget exactly what boss. I don't know the name of a single one of these bosses. I know the big one, of course, right? But there is this boss, the spidery one on top of the hospital, I believe, that shoots a bunch of bubbles at you.
Yeah.
Where I thought, okay, I can't dodge that, and I'm not about to put barrier. Not about to use my PE on barrier. What am I? A game tester? No, I'm gonna just sit here, take this damage, and my armor will auto heal me, and then I'll pop this guy twice.
Right. Yeah, see, the thing is, I did figure out how to dodge that attack. Like, that was a boss I had some trouble with because I didn't have enough healing items to like make it through brute forcing it. And so it was like, I figured out that like the spider boss like breathes in to blow out the bubbles. And there's like a moment where you can kind of get on the side and they won't hit you, right? And so I think this was the thing, is there were a couple bosses where I had like a satisfying time figuring out how they worked and how I could relate to the play in them, and that also played into like the resource management stuff, which I think, which again kind of like varied between like totally negligible, something I'm barely thinking about at all, and like, oh fuck, I've only got 3 medicines for this boss fight. What am I gonna do? Or like, how am I gonna manage I have to be able to dodge attacks because I won't be able to heal myself with PE enough to compensate, right? And I found those parts of the game with I think there were parts where the design felt like it all clicked together for me.
To me, I felt like I don't know. It felt like I was swinging. It felt like I had no skill in this game. I felt like I was mostly dealing with the fact that all I had to do was wait.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm great at that. I'm an incredible waiter. This game made me a waiter at the table of my brain it's lost. But this game made me its waiter at the table. Oh, New York. I'm trying to remember Eric Adams.
I don't know this Eric Adams thing. Do you know what this is, Rose?
No.
It's like he says, like, I'm making my haters the waiters at the table. Oh, there you go. It's I'm making my haters the waiters at the table of success.
Okay.
And this game made me its hater, its waiter at the table.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is like. This was one of the things that when I got the like double actions at the end of the game, I was like, this is the sickest thing it's ever. I could heal and then fire a couple times. Like, this is amazing. And that, like, I think there is like a sense, particularly with some of the lower level enemies for me, where it's like, okay, like I know how to dodge these attacks or I can brute force it. And I just have to wait to fire my shots. And that is it. Right. And like RPG, like Dragon Quest makes that process of waiting like really snappy and engaging and fun to look at. And this is a game that doesn't really do that, right?
Yeah. The other like contemporary that came in mind was like Undertale.
Yes. Yeah, I thought about Undertale a lot too.
The difference is when you get hit in Undertale, you have iframes. And
right,
and so you're not put in situations where you're getting stun locked over and over again by the same attack. Which this is a survival horror game. On a certain point, I'm expecting some jank to it. But with how like imprecise attacks felt, it was just a little annoying to have attacks where like, I don't know where the hitbox is or what. And there was that one boss where you're like in that like vehicle and she's like attacking you doing like AoE attacks that like you can technically dodge, but like good luck.
Yeah, that sucks.
Stuff like that was like so annoying to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is something that has come up on the podcast multiple times, but I just have such a like, I will play a boss fight 5 times and I will maybe start to complain about it when I hit like 10 attempts. I can kind of wade through stuff. I am a waiter at the table of success.
The other thing about playing this game for me is like, I really disliked the menu system because you have so many, like you have the abilities, which is like fine, but then you have so many like guns that are just the name of the gun, a plus a number or whatever. And by the end of the game, you really have no idea what the distinction is between weapons outside of like the stats, like the damage and the range and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it all kind of blended together. And everything takes up so much inventory space when you get it, that it just felt very cumbersome.
Yeah, there is a lot of like, there was a lot of times where it's like, oh, I picked up an item, I don't have room in my inventory for it. Like, what can I let go of? Like, can I get rid of this pistol? Well, it's like, well, maybe if I get a tool in the future, I could get the +2 and this and another weapon. And it's like, but does that really matter? And these are like boring fucking questions.
Yeah.
The game gives you 3 versions of a club that I never used.
Yeah, I used it once early on because I was like, maybe it would be helpful to save ammo. And that just never matters. Like, you always are swimming in ammunition.
And then Homeboy from Japan gives you these like trinkets that do nothing but sit in your inventory.
Yeah, that's
which
kind
is
of
like
funny.
It's a funny bit. But then like having to do the inventory management was annoying, and by the end of the game I just had 3 of those just sitting in my inventory.
Yeah, me too.
One of them it does serve a function as being a placeholder for a key item you need to kill the final boss. But outside of that, they're just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
Rose, you are so right. Like, Lord forgive me, but I had to go back to Game Facts to like see some forum posts about
Parasite. I also did this. I was like, do these do anything?
Yeah, and I read some forums and they were like, yeah, they help you with crits or like reduce random encounters. And I'm like, when is that gonna happen? Can you inform me when that's gonna happen? and then I would look down at the forum post and it said written 17 years ago, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, mortality. Thank you. Okay, mitochondria.
Yeah, aging, part of a mitochondrial function.
And also, look. I maybe I don't know exactly when to bring this up, so I'm gonna like in our. Like a ribonucleic acid, I'm going to come into this cell and I'm just going to deliver this piece of information.
Okay.
But there's a very specific subplot about the gun store in this police precinct 17. And you go there to, you modify your weapons, but like you get to meet two fellas. A gentleman named Wayne and a gentleman named Torres. And throughout the game, you kind of learn about these two, and they yabber amongst each other. But then you hear some wokeness come out of Torres. He is constantly talking about guns and what are they used for. And he has a couple of lines where I see them and I'm like, okay, bro. Oh, okay. Critical support to Sergeant Torres when he says things like, wait, give me 1 sec. Or is it?
There's so many like funny little lines from him. That you own the gun doesn't own you, right? And that's why you shouldn't make your gun too strong.
Yes, that's what I was looking for. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's cool, Mr. Torres. And then eventually you get to learn that he hates guns because his daughter died in a gun-related incident where it just went off by itself. Which, honestly, that's kind of... Guns are kind of designed not to do that. And so, like, I call BS on that.
This was something I was wondering about, is like the implication that he was careless and he left a gun around that she shot herself with. Like, it was kind of unclear to me what was being implied by that sequence.
I think the game doesn't really know either, because like eventually like Torres dies. Okay, R.I.P. Let the people know. And Wayne comes up and he takes over the gun storage, and he delivers some lines where he tells us about his Torres's daughter, and Wayne says things like. He says that Torres is blaming guns. He said, you can't blame guns for that. Torres' daughter dying. I think you can, but I don't know, Wayne. Maybe I'm different. And then as Torres is laying down, dying on the ground, he says, I suppose you're right. So there's this switch up in Torres' arc to be like, I'm anti-gun up until the last moment of my life, where maybe it wasn't the gun, maybe it was the person with the gun, and it lost all its woke, and I hate it.
Well, yeah, there's like two things with that. One is like, just a character being like, I didn't protect myself because my daughter was a gun or whatever the fuck it is, is like ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, a wolf man was attacking me and I didn't raise my firearm.
But then, like, to put this plot in the game where all you fucking do is shoot gun is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, when he dies, you get Torres's gun. And the gun sucks! It sucks! Your daughter died for this, bro? Come on!
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. I don't mean to like come in here and like be like, hey, this is a game about cops. Let's talk about cops. But like this game's about cops, so let's talk about cops.
Yeah. I was also You said in the chat that Rose that Daniel is Barrett too, and he is because he's
sucks,
like,
man.
Yeah.
Oh
he's
my
like,
god.
This no nonsense black man, what has small child he must take care of.
Small child he must take care of. The mom died.
Yeah.
And the cop is like super aggro. It's just Barrett and it's awful.
Yeah. I will say the part where he grabs the like special bullets with Aya's genetic material in them and tosses them to like leaps out of the helicopter, set on fire.
Sick. Yes. Yeah,
and then tosses it. Yeah. Top 10 hype moments in Aura.
It was pretty good. Because part of that was like, so what's the plan? Is he just gonna die landing on the boat?
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, everyone's okay, I guess.
Daniel is such an odd character to me because in the first half of the game, the game goes out of its way to not give him the chance to be heroic and save his son. And
yeah.
I think this says a lot about the game and about how the game is like fundamentally about individualism and about how the self is the one that is the strongest possible being. But I dislike that. I dislike that Daniel was removed from being a heroic father, and his reward for being this coward was that he was made the chief of police in Precinct 17 after the former chief died protecting Ben, the son. And I'm like, what? Game, what are you telling me? What should I believe about this?
Yeah, well, I think that is like a weird, because he like runs into the station to save Ben, right? And then is like nowhere to be found in there, and then shows up after everything has happened, right? There is like a weird, like, I think video gamey kind of construction of like, you have to go through the dungeon. And it wouldn't make sense for Daniel to be up to something other than saving Ben, but he can't do it because you have to do it because you're the video game protagonist. Right. So it's, yeah, there's some like clumsy storytelling stuff with that, I think.
There's also like, look, I'm no academic here. I'm no hero for saying this, but like clearly the game from the 90s made by Japanese people has like a low understanding of racial politics in America. Mm-hmm. And it's so evident to me in Daniel's story. And yeah, he's a little bit of a badass later on. Yeah, but it is so obvious to me that there is no real negotiation on what it means to be an officer in the NYPD and to be in the overlaying of racial and ethnic politic on that. And but honestly, when I saw everything attached to it, encapsulated around that, I'm like, okay, well, actually, this is fun. Okay, thank you for not being so on the nose with the fact that, or thank you for being so on the nose for the fact that you don't know what the fuck's happening in New York City.
Well, I think that's also, it is like this deeply unreal kind of situation where the whole city's been evacuated. Rats are turning into, they're sort of like, this is obviously place where like police force is justified because it's an unreal situation that would never happen, right? And that is also kind of part of it.
I'm really feeling like Tokyo is the New York of America.
True. True.
There also is that line towards the end of the game before you fight the final boss where the gun guy is like, everyone's saying that you're the #1 cop in NY right now. Three exclamation points.
Wayne, I love you, Wayne. I love a quirked up white boy.
Oh, wow.
He collects trading cards, I think.
Yeah, you could give him trading cards. That's like a thing in the New Game Plus. Is you can get like a super special rocket launcher by giving him trading cards or something.
I tried doing that a little bit. It didn't feel rewarding at all. It felt like I was just hunting down something that was useless for me.
Yeah, well, it's like you get, I think slots could open on your weapons, but it was rare that I used up all the slot on my armor, but that was the thing. And I think that's also a thing where you're sort of intended to like, boost up an armor early, and then I think swap the boosts to a later armor that has more, like, has a higher base level, and then it's like, oh, you get, instead of having like plus 60 armor, you're plus 70 or armor or whatever, right? But I was like too in debt. I was too like, I want my little treats. I want my little boot. I want my little perks on my Kevlar vest. So I never like did that. Anyway.
What are your thoughts on the main character? Aya, Maya, Aya, Laya, whatever.
The thing is, I wish that there was, I think it's so hard when the game, I think, is partially trying to sell this like big emotional connection between Eve and Aya that it's just not there. There's like not really anything to that. And it's connected to her past with her sister, but like she doesn't even seem to remember it at first or like know what's going on. And I think that like, it just kind of can't have pathos, really. But I think she's cool. And I also think, like, I mean, like, we were talking about earlier, like, about how, like, oh, is she a sex symbol or whatever? But I do think, like, I appreciate that she is, like, an attractive character, that the game is, like, obviously leveraging that. But it's really not in a particularly gross way. It's just like casting a hot actress in your movie, right? Is what it feels like to me. And I think
getting
that's
Mila Jovovich to be there.
Yeah, to be Alice.
Yeah.
Who's got powers. I develop powers. And so, yeah, I mean, I think, I think you could do worse. Especially as far as like female-led video games go.
Yeah. The only like interesting bit of character work, really, for me, outside of the gun stuff, was that like towards the beginning, like that CGI cutscene of like everybody combusting in the theater. And you get this really cool, like, fade-in shot of, was it Media or whoever the lady is, like, setting fire to everybody. Like, it cuts to, like, her face as she's doing that. And, like, that was a level of, like, interesting cinematography and, like, character work in terms of, like, how present is she while she is doing this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is she aware that she's doing this? What's going on?
Yeah, and then you get the diary, and there's like more stuff with her. With Melissa, I think is her name, the actress that Eve like possesses.
But in terms of like, what are these characters thinking? What is their interiority? That's kind of where it starts and ends.
Yeah. Like I do like the thing of like, Aya and Daniel have a history together. They have like, kind of classic like buddy cop stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that all feels like fine, like it but it's just because they feel so thin that they can't really be sold beyond like, oh, I can tell that they're friends, right? And that's kind of the emotional endpoint of it.
It really is just like archetypical characters, just for this. I don't know, for the sake of being there, maybe.
Yeah.
My thought watching like Aya go through all of this was she's very upfront about everything. There was at no moment where she was like, hey, I don't want to tell someone about these powers that I'm developing, or hey, I don't want to tell someone about these images that I'm seeing, these hallucinations or memories or whatever that might be. She was so matter of fact. And maybe if I were to like stretch my mind, I would say that just shows a level of like trust in between her and like predominantly male co-workers. But I don't think this game has those chops.
Yeah, I think there is like because that scene where she is like at the press conference and spills is like very funny, where she's like, oh, actually it's the science fiction shit that's going on, is I think cute, but yeah. Yeah, and I guess also I think it would have been easy to make a game about being a female cop or whatever, and I'm kind of glad that it's not that, There's a billion ways that could be tiresome, but yeah, I don't know. I wish there was more there.
Yeah.
Not to jump the gun, but do we want to move on to questions?
I have one thing I would like to talk about.
Please.
Which is, this is I think very important.
Okay.
And I would appreciate if you locked in. Strap down, strap in, and I don't know. Put your boots on, lace them up. Put your anything you need to lace up, because part of Dovewhether, Dovewhether is like such a like sex positive and sex forward, and horny forward production that sometimes I like to hone in on like how things are presented, how horniness is presented in anything, video games, art, media, anything, right? And so in this, there are multiple times where this game is about reproduction because it's about evolution, and part of the motivation of the big bad, the tiny mitochondria that's the big bad in all of this, is she's kind of looking to get a little bit of some juice to make some mitochondrial babies.
Yeah.
And the language used throughout all this in the 90s feels so quaint. It feels they're using the word sperm regularly through this game, and it's not even like they're not making a joke of it. They're not like calling it spunk or like cum or anything. They're just like, oh, this thing is looking for sperm. Where can we find sperm? Oh, the hotel. Oh, you have to go destroy the sperm because we don't want it to create the perfect being.
Right, the ultimate being.
As all of this was happening, I was just like, okay, game. Okay, well, it's nice that you're not brain rotted. And as the game went on, and eventually you complete this subplot, you eventually go to where the sperm is held. And I'm posting something in the chat right now. And in this, the place that the sperm is held is at a hospital, in these giant bats. You can see them in the chat.
I think it is like, so I think these little bottles on the floor are supposed to be, because there's like little holes on the side of them, I guess. But it would be funny if it was a big vat, I guess.
I feel like you're being way too logical. Honestly, I don't know what those are. All I know is that maybe this game is implying that the people in New York can bust a gigantic load.
Sure.
And this game was just so, every once in a while I was just seeing all of this. I was just like, okay, game, okay. We did used to live in a society that didn't treat every little piece of reproduction as a joke. And
Right.
it was nice, and it was also like a little like flabbergasting to see the way that this game represents all of that.
Yeah, it is like, I mean, yeah, that's also the thing, is it is kind of sexless, right? Despite having this, I mean, not really despite, there's like
I just
character.
came across a piece of merch that's unofficial.
Mm-hmm.
The vendor is called Night Channels. It's not like an illegal Etsy, so I'm okay saying that.
Right.
This art is hornier than anything in the game.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh
this.
my god.
Where's this game? I want this game. Where is it?
Oh. That's crazy. Also, because that was also
for the listener.
I guess
it is a black and white illustration of the villain of the game biting the ear of Aya while they're kind of like caressing each other. But like it's artful. It looks good. But this is not what happens in the game Parasite Eve.
no, that's true.
Not at all. I mean, like, I don't look for too much horniness in my games, right? But like, it would have been nice to see some like real effort into like maturity.
Yeah. No, I think that is like a weird thing. Like, this game does feel like for adults. Like, it's based on a novel, right? Like, but it does have this sort of like, I don't know. It's all pretty silly, isn't it?
I thought a lot about Dino Crisis while playing this.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like it just defaulted to like 80s pastiche,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it is very like, I don't know. It's so Michael Crichton. I'm curious about like what the book is in conversation with in some ways, but yeah. Okay. Well, we got questions.
Yep. Apologies to anybody who sent questions for the D&D 2 episode. Gmail has decided that every email sent by a human being is spam, and it's very annoying. But now I know to be on the lookout for that, and hopefully it won't happen again. In my defense, in terms of not getting these questions, none of them are really about D or D.
Oh, well, that's fine. Yeah, we could just answer them.
So, this one's from Emerus. What other little-known horror games do you want to put a spotlight on, or suggest people check out? What is a 2-sentence pitch for them, and why do you think they're overlooked? I don't have a good answer for this because this is why we have the podcast.
Yeah.
Play this stuff. So
I think that's true. I'm trying to think if there's like retro horror stuff. Yeah, because I feel like this is my outlet for exploring that, as you said. This is where I'm playing the retro horror games that I think I want to try out. I mean, I'll shout out Fragile Dreams anytime. That game's cool as hell. We already talked about it. It's on the feed, but I think that game's sick. People could talk about that more.
It's true.
I would say maybe Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
I played that as a kid, and I remember in this like arboreum section of this mansion that you're trapped in, a giant anaconda was like the impediment that you needed to like find the solution to. And scary. It's a scary game. It's an old game, and if you hate snakes, you're gonna hate this, and so you should love it.
I love that game because the infant controls like Sonic the fucking Hedgehog.
What?
You can like one of the
Excuse
kids one of the kids is a toddler and you like fucking jump around and do platforming shit
Oh my god.
as a baby.
That's wild.
It's wild.
I fully did not expect you to have played this.
I also played this as a kid. I don't remember much from it other than you can be a baby and jump around.
Did we discuss
that's what babies can do?
This like Winnie the Pooh game where you play as Piglet and it's a survival horror game?
Yeah, that blew up on social media.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't really have any thoughts about it except like, yeah, there's like a million PlayStation games that I'm sure
are kind of this.
Are fucking weird, but we just
well,
don't know about them.
also just Luigi's Mansion, right? This is what Luigi's Mansion is.
Oh,
you know?
yes, but like Luigi's Mansion didn't sample the same stuff that Silent Hill sampled. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fair. That's
like,
fair.
I like appreciate the I don't know, the effort to copy something, but like in a fucking Piglet game. I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. This one's from Kieran. What's the scariest letter of any alphabet?
Oh. Of any alphabet? What a good question.
L maybe in Spanish, because like, what are you doing? You're being so wasteful with 2 L's in this What do you mean, llave? What do you mean by that? What if I just want to say llave?
Right. I don't. X is scary to me, I guess.
Yeah, because it's scary to me because it's the everything app.
It's everything. Yeah.
True.
New payment platform coming soon. You know.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Why the Something app.
You know, we could use less everything apps in my mind. I think we have enough of those. It might be good to have an app that's meant to do exactly one thing. That might be nice.
It'd be great if there was a clock app that didn't ask you to
turn off that clock.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'd pay for that.
Yeah. I think X is my answer. I don't really have a good, you know. I don't know. You know, I know German. I don't think O umlaut is scary, which is just like an O with 2 little dots. So I think that's cute. I think umlauts are cute.
Spanish also has a lot of umlauts. It just means that you gotta like emphasize this next part of the word.
Yeah,
so
you just gotta give it a little twist.
It's kind of nice that like it's a nice like sign, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's super scary, but German I think overall is.
You know, I think people think Germany is scary simply because the only time they've heard German is Adolf Hitler yelling. I think that's like the principal reason people think German is scary. Because like German is also a language where you can put like a suffix chen, and it makes it cute and small. So like a gummy bear, you say Gummibärchen. Like it's a little gummy bear.
Aww,
there's a suffix for that.
That's so cute. I've never heard that. There's a diminutive suffix. Just like in Spanish,
that's also
with an ito.
Yeah, exactly. Similar kind of thing. Yeah, there's also line, which is similar, which is kind of like, it's less little and more like thin or like Fraulein, right? People say, or Büchlein, where it's like, oh, I've got a little book. You know, I've got a thin book.
Is this too far into the podcast to tell the audience that I am both Mexican, Latino, and in Chicago in the South Side? The real heads know. Oh, where my green line heads at?
Oh, damn.
All right. Let's see.
Next question.
This one's from Steven. You're given the responsibility to pick Aya's outfits in the next game. What do you choose?
Controversial.
Yeah, I mean, I do think like the, black jeans and the leather jacket with the white t-shirt, like that's pretty classic, What would I do? I think I just make her goth. I think I just give her like
yeah, I could see that.
like, knee-high boots and multiple piercings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's like two wolves inside of me. One is like what is like what makes me horny, right?
Right.
And
yeah.
the other wolf is like just give him like the like stereotypical movie outfit of just like a suit with a big coat.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool.
It's cool every time.
Yeah.
And it is December. She could wear a big coat.
That's true. Yeah. No, there should be more like frames of her in this game in like a like a pea coat. Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
I also like that. I like a woman in a short skirt and long jacket.
Yeah.
And
true.
I think so. In the real sequel, she gets like so like sexualized for seemingly no reason. She wears a skirt through it, which makes honestly no sense. She's destroying mitochondrial monsters. But with that said, maybe a longer skirt. Maybe like a work, maybe like a work wear skirt. Maybe a place that she could like dangle a hammer on. Maybe some like cargo pants. I think, though, in 2025, I would put her in platform shoes with a big old military surplus pants, lot of pockets. And up top, the top would be like a very nice dress-up shirt. So she is just hitting this like, oh, what am I doing? Am I cool? Am I fun? Am I following a trend, or am I setting one?
This Parasite Eve 2 outfit is fucking terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? What is
Yeah,
hold on. Here we hold on.
I truly don't know what it looks like.
Take a look at this. If the Google doesn't want to give you the preview in the app, why would you ever want to do that anyway?
I like these freaky guys that are in the soundtrack art, but
yeah, those guys are cool. But like the like dress looking,
yeah, with the
thing,
big belt, yeah,
with the big belt, but then and then she has like a plain jean jacket on.
Yeah.
This is a Western style influenced outfit, and yeah, it doesn't make any sense. She's also supposed to be an FBI agent here, like she's supposed to like have leveled up.
Right. You know what's the best video game outfit? Is Heather in Silent Hill 3. That's peak. The puffy jacket is deeply important to me.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another one.
Let's see. This one's from Jack. Wanted to know if either of you have seen an opera before. Is there an opera that you think would translate well into a spooky game?
Oh, that's a good question. I have seen opera before. Although now I don't remember what it was, but I have. I've seen is it an opera or is it something else? But the Candide, the
book by Voltaire.
Yeah, well, based on the book by Voltaire. and is like not contemporary, but relatively recent opera, 20th century opera. And that's pretty cool. I don't think that would make a good spooky video game, though. You could make a video game out of Candide, though. That's like 80 days, basically. You could just do that.
It's a guy going through it. Like, all his boys die. So, yeah.
Yeah. And running around getting into scrapes, getting into trouble. I don't know. Have either of you been to the opera?
I have not. Yeah.
I have. I'm actually trying to cover an opera for Dovewhether. I live in Chicago, and there's a very wonderful ongoing opera house here called Lyric Opera, and they have a tremendous effort that they put on. Chicago's a great theater town. And I am doing myself a disservice by not actually taking it on, but I would say so many stage plays that I've seen here in Chicago can dovetail perfectly into horror if you just add the reality that it costs $200 to go see one.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the opera I have seen is Beethoven's, I believe, One Opera, which is about a woman cross-dressing, pretending to be a lawyer to get her husband out of prison. Fidelio, it's called. And that's pretty cool. You could turn that into a video game, and it could be a little spooky.
Sure.
Disguised as a prison guard. Pardon me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what the cross-dressing had to do with any of that.
Yeah, it's that
because it just seems like you can be a lawyer,
right? Well, I don't know what that was. What the gender situation was like for lawyers in 1814.
Yeah. Probably a wig is involved.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a long black draping silhouette.
Yeah. It's I'm trying to remember because it is it's also the alto. Oh no, it is a soprano. Leonore. So, never mind. I was it's an alto lead, which is weird, but that's I made that up. That's not real. That's fake.
When did this work? When did it come out?
1805.
So do you think that somebody in the performance when it just dropped,
mm-hmm.
that they just had a dude cross-dressing as a woman, cross-dressing as a dude lawyer or whatever?
No, it is a woman cross-dressing as a man.
Okay.
Because opera stuff, I guess I don't know, because you used to have, castrated men who could sing soprano. They used to be a thing, so I guess I don't know at a certain point. Maybe there was more operatic, but my understanding is the majority, Mozart was performed with women, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you the Magic Flute.
Yeah, he was a horned up guy, incredibly horned up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, we have one more from Jen. A few years ago, I decided to read the Parasite Eve novel for myself, curious to find out what drew Square to the series in the first place. Unfortunately, it was a deeply off-putting book. For an author who was a pharmacologist, it did little to give its science any more weight or validity than something you'd read in a Michael Crichton novel, and the scenes involving sexual assault and teen pregnancy were so nonsensical and made the whole story feel shallow. Are there any prominent stories where you feel like the adaptation or sequel written by another person is far superior to the original work for me, it's a rare enough occurrence that the handful of exceptions end up being very memorable for good and for ill.
Yeah, I was struggling to think of, because I can think of a few things where I enjoy or appreciate the adaptation just as much as the original work, like The Last Temptation of Christ, the Scorsese film. I love the novel also by Nikos Kazantzakis. I love both of them. I think they both are really interesting inflections. And in some ways, those are also both adaptations of the Bible. And that's also an interesting element, right? That there's a third source material that they're both kind of working through. And and there are other things like that that I can't think of at the moment, but yeah, I couldn't think of a specific example. How about you two?
I think for me, I think Hannibal would be the go-to, even though I'm not really, I'm not familiar with the original like Hannibal novels. But that is very explicitly like a queering of those characters and stories.
Yeah.
But I feel weird saying that not having read the source material.
Right, yeah. But no, I think that is a good example where that inflection. And there are things that like I really like Wide Sargasso Sea, which is a novel about the mad woman in the attic in Jane Eyre. Right. So it's kind of a, it's before this, but it's kind of proto-feminist retelling of Jane Eyre, right? It's before that kind of nomenclature made it into publishing, but I don't know that book makes Jane Eyre bad, or that I like, I don't like Jane Eyre, but I like this. I just think it's good. I think that it is interesting and worthwhile inflection on that story, and on the bigotries and problems of it. But that's not quite the same thing as it being an improvement, Yeah.
I would say Kate Bush's Wuthering Heights is a tremendous adaptation. I am Heathcliff, come on, where you at? Where you at, homie? Look, I've read Wuthering Heights, and I've listened to the song Wuthering Heights. And admittedly, like both are wonderful works, right? I am not the biggest completionist of media, and so even if I like an author, I probably won't read more than 2 books of theirs, or like even if I like a film director, I'm probably not. I don't have the engine within me that says go watch everything they've done. So this question to me really isn't. I don't really have too much to add to this. I will say that once again, as a theme hound, I will say that the subplot of what happened in Japan that is brought up in the game is so convoluted. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's so convoluted. It's a mad scientist because a scientist goes wild because his wife dies. Yeah, I never heard of that one. So yeah. We'll go listen to Wuthering Heights by Kate Bush.
Yeah.
Is Romeo plus Juliet better than Romeo and Juliet?
This is a toughie because I do think that like it is like an instantiation or a production of a Shakespeare play, an adaptation of the text. Yeah. Because it is written to be performed and not really written to be read, right? And people do read it as literature, and that's fine, but I don't, is that adaptational?
No.
But also Romeo plus Juliet, I mean, despite like the script is, all the lines are taken from Shakespeare, is like a reworking of it, in explicit terms. So maybe.
I haven't thought about that movie in, honestly, a decade.
It's kind of, I need to watch it again because I think I did watch it the last time in high school. But It's cool.
The postal service is called Post Haste. It's so good.
I'm so like you brought that up, and I'm thinking about Romeo plus Juliet and like what could be an adaptation. I do think about I don't know. I think about neutral milk hotels, like in the aeroplane over the sea, and that just being a fully an album that is based around Anne Frank and her writing, and and I wonder, is that an adaptation? Can that be? Is that inspirational or adaptational? I don't know.
Right. I think that is like partially all questions of genre are fake to some degree, right? And are marketing, but yeah, I don't know. Do you have neutral milk hotel feelings, Rose?
Was it? No. I'm thinking about fucking Halo and when they didn't they give Cortana dialogue reference Virginia Woolf's suicide note?
In Halo Infinite they do this. Yeah.
God,
it is deeply fucked on 3 different axes.
Yeah. That's so bad. Why? I fucking hate it. The other thing I guess is the Berserk 97 anime is kind of a better version of the Golden Age arc.
Sure.
That's for the anime perverts out there, I guess.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, I need to get around to Berserk, but
it's a good one.
Yeah, that's so I've heard. I've heard nothing but good things, basically. So, all right. Well,
when this episode is out, I'm sure each of us collectively will think of another one,
right?
And get to
that is the way it goes. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the questions we have.
I think Kate Bush is peak. So
yeah, it's a good answer. Good answer. Yeah. Well, thank you both for chatting with me about this weird video game.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I haven't done a retro game in such a long time. And seeing it and how little busted it is and how quality of life changes are, in fact, the quality of life change.
That's true.
In video games.
I will say that you would probably, if you booted up, Resident Evil 2, you're probably going to have a better time. Something to think
100%.
about.
100%. I played it. I played it back in the day. So yes, I have fond memories. And but thank you for bringing me on. I really appreciate it. I am AP. I'm one of the co-hosts of Dovewhether, which is an art and media podcast. We talk about that stuff through a queer, trans, Latino lens. So if you're interested in some more hee-hees and ha-has and maybe thinking about what the world is right now through media and celebrates trans joy that has been dipped in chamoy, come listen to Dovewhether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good show. I've been on it. In fact, I was on with the other co-host Marcy. We talked about Hunter x Hunter. Speaking of anime stuff, it is a good show, and I would full-heartedly co-sign it. Yeah, what about... Yeah, of course, yeah. We got plugs, Rose? We want to put...
Patreon.com/thesaferoom. We have our episode on Sinners that'll be out by the time you hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Em and
I recorded an episode of Closet Crit, so that will also be up soon, in the next week. as of recording, so hopefully sooner, or maybe it'll already be here when you're listening to this.
Yeah.
I am gonna join that Patreon to listen to that Sinners episode because I love that movie. I love vampire media. I know this podcast has a fraught relationship with that, but so does Dovewhether. And I need to listen to some thoughts on Sinners.
Yeah, I think it was a good pod, and it's a good movie. We both really enjoyed it. So.
And then next episode for the game club and the movie portion of the Patreon, we're going to be talking about Sweet Home. The video game and the accompanying film.
Yeah, because they were developed simultaneously, continuously.
Yeah. So look forward to that.
Yeah, this is Kiyoshi Kurosawa, who directed Pulse, which we also covered on.
Yeah.
Have you seen Cloud?
No, I want to.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
You should watch Pulse, though.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, I've seen Pulse. I should watch Cure.
Oh, Cure. I mean,
yeah.
Cure's
No,
really
you're right.
good.
No, you're right. Maybe I can soft promise to have watched it before we record about Safe Home.
Speaking of detectives in big coats,
Yeah, true.
He's got
True. I'm looking at the Letterboxd page, and he's literally in a big coat on that.
I think that's a pod.
Yeah.